Hello, my name is Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data-driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we're looking at the feed-in tariffs, public finance, and capital efficiency of solid biofuels from the IntelStor Future of Renewables report. Folks, this is one you're not going to want to miss, so please stay tuned all the way to the end. The levelized cost of energy for solid biofuels has proven to be challenging when compared to other forms of non-renewable power generation. We compare the high and low annual limits, as well as the global average, to the top three non-renewable generation sources, including coal, natural gas, and petroleum. Except briefly in 2022 when there was a spike, the average cost of solid biofuels has never gone below the cost of natural gas, and it's barely ever challenged the cost of petroleum and never even once come close to competing with the cost of coal. Due to some of the market limitations already discussed in the past few episodes of Truth to Power, it's unlikely that you would see solid biofuels actually challenging conventional non-renewable power generation sources, even at more significant scale. Nevertheless, it's a somewhat cost-effective option with an average of between $63 and $73 a megawatt hour unsubsidized. While that may seem like a competitive figure, and it certainly is if you're talking about Europe, keep in mind that onshore wind and solar PV have been less than half that average and have a much better track record for financeability. Feed-in tariffs for solid biofuels have an average range from $89.58 up to $111.71 per megawatt hour, but ranging upwards of $300 per megawatt hour in some countries in the Americas, Asia Pacific, and European regions as well. Such high feed-in tariff prices underscore how the asset owners of solid biofuels are able to achieve profitability, but as noted in the study of solid biofuels cost of energy, the industry would not be as competitive as other renewable energy technologies without such generous support. More recently, generous feed-in tariffs in both the Africa and Middle East and the Americas regions have been eliminated. Prices are now below $150 per megawatt hour across Europe as well as the Asia Pacific regions. Those regions still provide some modest subsidies to support prices, but it's dwindling all the time. The ramp up of public funding for solid biofuels, particularly in the Africa and Middle East region, is somewhat perplexing. Typically, public finance is used to provide a mechanism to scale up installed capacity through a public-private partnership, which helps to de-risk private capital expenditure. Since 2012, the Africa and Middle East region has seen an annual public finance increase from more than $700 million per year to upwards of $4.8 billion in the most recently reported period. Except for 2016, Africa and the Middle East region has had the highest percentage of annual public funding allocation of any global region, somewhere between 31% and 54.8%. This is important to understand in the context of the capital efficiency metric, which will be reviewed later, because the funding should be allocated to project development, but the pipeline for solid biofuels project development in the Africa and Middle Eastern region does not reflect this surge in capacity additions, which would justify the more than generous amount of public funding allocation that they've received. The recent ramp up across all regions has led to a total public funding allocation of more than $12.3 billion in the most recent reporting period. A total of $81.8 billion in public funding has been allocated to solid biofuels in the past 25 years, with Africa and the Middle East taking a total of 35%. Europe has leveraged only $12.5 billion or 15.2% of the total public funding, which indicates they are more highly tied to private finance to support the capacity growth in that region. In both the Americas and Asia Pacific regions, they've taken a moderate amount when compared to Africa, but they've certainly deployed capacity thanks to the public support. The Asia Pacific, European, and Americas regions all have a relatively high capital efficiency between 345,000 up to $596,000 per installed megawatt. This is substantially higher than the average public finance commitment for other renewable energy technologies, but it underscores the extent to which solid biofuels have been dependent on public funding support to get capacity deployed. Africa and the Middle Eastern region, the capital efficiency stands out not only compared to the other regions which have deployed solid biofuels using the help of public funding, but amongst all renewable energy technologies. While liquid biofuels have a figure that is higher on capital efficiency, that's just a quirk of mathematics based on the limited amount of capacity installed, coupled with a decent but limited chunk of public funding support totaling no more than about $19 million. For solid biofuels in the Africa and Middle Eastern region, the figure of just under $8.4 million per installed megawatt, with a total of $28.7 billion of public funding allocated over the past 25 years, is without a doubt the worst performance in the entire renewable energy industry. While public finance allocation is typically a leading indicator of capacity additions, the provision of the bulk of the $28.7 billion has occurred only with a few hundred megawatts added into the region. While we can't point directly to gross incompetence or corruption at this time, this discrepancy warrants further investigation to understand how that much public funding could be deployed with so few results. In the meantime, despite a significant amount of public funding flowing into solid biofuels over the years, offshore wind is poised to overtake the technology on installed capacity within the next 12 to 18 months, which presents a continual challenge for the technology to see any kind of significant scale. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. We'll have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power, including a look at the installed capacity and global region market share of offshore wind. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel, as well as your favorite audio platforms. And visit www.intelstor.com to join more than 350,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And tickets are on sale now for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas on November 3rd and 4th, 2026. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We've got speakers and panelists lined up from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Panard Energy, ExxonMobil, WEG, and more. So don't miss out. Register today. We hope to see you there.